Hey guys, Joe Tunney here at Honda of Seattle and Toyota of Seattle here in the Soto district of downtown Seattle. And although me myself, I'm always a big fan of high performance cars, one of my favorite cars to sell, believe it or not, is the Nissan Leaf, and it's not even our brand of car. Historically, we have not had a large volume electric vehicle to sell either out of our Honda side or out of our Toyota side. We do have a plug-in Prius, but it's not a full electric car, it's a partial electric car, and it's far more expensive than the Nissan Leaf is. And we don't have anything that's pure electric, and so we have a lot of customers here in downtown Seattle that have their eyes on a full electric vehicle. Maybe not even necessarily for the gas prices or anything like that that are perpetually fluctuating. They just want an electric vehicle because that's what they want. So we bought a handful of them over the past year and a half or so. Well, they're so successful that we've bought far more than a handful, and now we've sold probably 70 or 80 Nissan Leafs. And after so many sales experiences, you kind of get to know the ins and outs of a particular car. And what you get to learn about the Nissan Leaf is that they're about as nice a car for the money as you're ever going to find. And I'm going to show you some insights about what we keep our eyes open for when we buy one, but why we think that Nissan Leafs represent a really nice value on today's marketplace. I'm going to pop the two hoods up in the front. Now, it has a conventional hood, and it has a semi-conventional motor, and so the motor inside of this, of course, is electric. It puts out 80,000 watts, or 80 kilowatts, and so that 80,000 watt electric motor actually powers a lithium-ion battery, and then that in turn turns the wheels. And so the nice thing about electric cars is that the power is instant and seamless. The downside of a small electric motor like this is that it doesn't have necessarily a ton of overall power. This one has 107 horsepower, so top speed is a little bit limited, but it has 207 pound-feet of torque, which is actually a lot. It's actually a really quick car from 0 to 60 miles an hour. In fact, it's pretty quick all the way up to 90 miles an hour, and that's about the top speed on a Nissan Leaf. And so, yes, it's not a high-performance car, but it's actually a pretty lively performer out on the open road. And then, of course, being fully electric, you never have to get gas, but you do have to fill it up. And this is the receptacle that you fill it up with. And so all Leafs come with a portable charging cable, and it just looks like the receptacle at the gas station. You just take the gas pump off and you just plug it into your fuel receptacle there. On the Leaf, it's the exact same thing. It's just a handle with a trigger, and it plugs right on in there. The other side's got a plug that plugs into the outlet of your wall. 8 hours later, if you're at 0 miles, you have a full charge. Full charge on a Leaf is roughly 80 miles. The number, if I had to say, there's one number I hear more than any other number, it's the number 83. I hear a lot of people say they get 83 miles on a full tank of electrons, so to speak, but you hear as low as 68, 69, 70, and then you hear on rarer occasions 100, 101, 102, but the number I hear the most is about 83 miles. For most folks, though, they don't drive 83 miles. They use it as a commuter, and so they'll go, say, 10 miles to work and then 10 miles back. And so that is something you need to know before you buy a Leaf, because it's going to change the kind of Leaf that you want. Now, this is a 2012 SV model. The 2011s and 2012s come with a 3.6 kilowatt charger, and so and they take roughly 8 hours or so to charge from 0 to full. The following year, in 2013, SV and SL models came out with a 6.6 kilowatt charger, so they charge proportionally faster. Also, there was the availability of kind of a bargain S model, and by bargain, they're $30,000 or thereabouts. The S model does not come, it's the same as this. It comes as an SV would in 2011 or 2012. It has no quick charge port, and it has a 3.6 kilowatt charger. The quick charge port. Quick charge port is something that can be significant if you have access to a quick charger. A lot of these public charging stations, they have fancy looking chargers. They're just not quick chargers. Quick charger is a whole different concept, and it has a different kind of receptacle, and it requires a different kind of input. And so if the receptacle that you're using, I used the IKEA one around here recently, and so although it's big and fancy, it only works in the slower speed side. And so if you have access to a quick charging station, or if you want to spend the money and get a home quick charging station, they're roughly about $1,000, plus you have to get it installed in your home. But if you have that, then you can charge much more quickly. In fact, so much more quickly that it can do about 80% of a full charge in just 30 minutes. The reason why you need to know your driving habits is if you're only driving 10 miles to work, 10 miles back home, and then you're kind of done for the day, you're not going to need a quick charge port ever. It's just not ever going to come up, because it'd be nice, for example, if your phone would charge more quickly, but if you had to pay a bunch of money to do it, then it wouldn't be nice. And so most people, when they come home, they just plug their phone in and they're just done. And then when they wake up in the morning, it's full and they don't even think about it. Same with 99% of all Leaf owners. They don't ever use the quick charge port. They might get one with it thinking they'll use it. They just don't ever seem to use it. The nice blend is if you get a 2013 model, just because it comes at the SV and SL trim levels with that 6.6 liter charger, 6.6 kilowatt charger that charges that much more quickly. Now, the style of the car is very aerodynamic. The headlights actually stick up and out a little bit, and that's actually for aerodynamic purposes. It takes the wind from hitting this mirror right here, and so it makes it much more seamless as it goes through. The air does not rush against this mirror and make it pretty noisy. This car is unreal quiet out on the open road. Space? Well, there's plenty of space. And so the cockpit is very modern, in fact, and when you turn the car on, in fact, I'll turn it on. It has these really great chimes. It's a very pleasant looking dashboard. I'm going to touch OK. It has navigation, and it's a really nice navigation. It has a great stereo system. If you get 2013 and newer models, you can get an even nicer BOSE stereo system. The shifter is a little bit different. Instead of having like a big tall shift lever, it's just this little pod right here. And then I just move it to left, and I pull it down, and I'm in drive. Put it back and push the letter P, I'm in park. Push it to the left and push it forward, I'm in reverse. Push the P again, and I'm back in park. You might have heard those subtle chimes in the back. Because the car is stone silent when you are in reverse, it automatically chimes to people that are around you. Hey, you know, I'm going backwards on a car. That doesn't make any noise. The back seat, well, I've got the front seat pretty much all the way back. So you can see I'm going to be a little bit compromised in the back seat. And so, again, that's something you need to know. If you're commuting with, 4 6-footers in the car, I hope it's not a super duper long commute. But if it's just you and maybe one other person, or just you by yourself, well, of course, you have all the room in the world. One nice feature, though, is that the heated seats, it has heated seats in the front. Well, there has buttons on the side because it has heated seats in the rear as well. In fact, it even has a rear heated steering wheel. Now, if I go to the rear, this one, because it's a 2012 SV, does not have a rear camera. If this was an SL model, it would have a rear camera. Also, the SL model would have a solar panel up here that would give it a little bit more oomph on a sunny day like today, so that the less wear and tear, less use actually, on your battery. The trunk, well, it's actually a really spacious trunk. You know, they've made battery technology for these electric powered cars quite compact these days. And so these first generation cars had really bulky batteries that, proportional to the car, actually took up a lot of space. And so the things you opened up didn't have any room. But this actually has quite a large trunk space. And then this is that receptacle that I mentioned. And so this handle right here is what plugs into the front outlet at the hood area. And then the back side just has a plug, literally, that plugs into the wall, just like anything else that plugs into the wall. Taking a look around, you know, they have very modern lines. It's a lot like a lot of Nissan products, like their Nissan Versa hatchback. The interior looks like a lot of more luxurious Nissans, like the Maxima or what have you. The quality of the materials is really, really good. We'll take a second look at the interior. In fact, from our experience, even handling these with north of 50,000 miles, the interior is actually built to last quite a long time. I have not seen any problem areas really with the Leafs on the interior at all. Mechanically, I've heard absolutely no complaints about the Leaf. And I know you can read online, whatever one unhappy person wants to tell the story to the world. But at the same time, Nissan is mindful that folks might be a little bit hesitant to purchase. And so Nissan is mindful that folks might be hesitant to purchase an electronic car. What if the battery broke or, something bad happened? Wouldn't that be really expensive? And so what they do is they have a 3-year, 36,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty through Nissan and a 5-year, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty. The great thing about that 5-year, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty is that at the end of that 60,000 miles, if you go into the Nissan dealership and they say, hey, listen, your battery's putting out less than 70% of its effective charge, they'll actually replace the entire unit at no charge to you. And nobody has that kind of warranty. Nobody says at 60,000 miles if there's a little leaking or a little bit of oil or something like that on your engine. They'll just put a brand new engine in for free. And so Nissan has this wonderful addendum to their warranty. On the 2011s and 2012s, it didn't come out until around 2014, that addendum to the warranty that said, listen, if the battery goes below that 70% threshold at 60,000 miles, they'll replace the unit for free. And so it has not come up. I have not heard anybody have any problems with the Leaf. I hear people calling me all the time and saying, how many bars does it have on the gauge cluster? That doesn't really mean anything because that changes all the time. And so if I turn it on now, it'll have one reading. And if I drive it around for a little bit, it'll have another reading. And then if I turn it on tomorrow, it'll have another reading still. And so it's that warranty that is gold. And so don't be afraid to call your local Nissan dealer and hear them tell you exactly what's involved in that warranty, or look it up at the Nissan USA website because it pretty much spells it out for you. Quality, great warranty, and the fact that you never have to use gas again, I mean, it's a pretty awesome combination. The other thing that makes these such a neat hit is that new, they're between $30,000 and $35,000. You get about a $7,500, you get in fact literally a $7,500 tax credit from the US government, and so that takes that price down into the 20s. Well, everybody was leasing these cars when they first came out, and so Nissan did a wonderful business in 11 and 12, and to this day, leasing lease. The problem is that the residual on these cars was about $18,000. Well, they don't go for $18,000, and so the dealers let them go back to the auction. Well, the dealers let every single one go back to the auction, and normally dealers keep most of their leases. They don't not keep 100% of them. And so the market was overwhelmed with Leafs. And so it brought the prices way, way, way down. And so a car like this, navigation, tons of warranty, super low teenage miles, I mean under 20,000 miles, this car is $12,000, $12,818. And so well, that's like nothing. I mean, you can't get a modern car that's brand new, I mean, or practically brand new for that kind of price with this kind of nice equipment. And then never having to pay for gas ever again. I mean, that's like buying a car for nothing. And then you look at the resale value from here, it's so high. It's a car that's going to cost you next to nothing for the next couple of years, and then the gas expense is going to be literally nothing. And so you can see why we like them so much. The one thing you need to be careful about, and it's not even that big of a deal, are the tires. They seem to go through tires fairly quickly. They get a concept called cupping. And so you got to be careful about cupped tires, and so it's just something that you want to keep your eyes open for. Just look at the tread of the tire from left to right, and if it looks inconsistent, you're probably going to be replacing tires. But if it looks great, then it probably is great. Take a look at the paint, make sure the car is original, check your Carfax, even take it to your mechanic. Hopefully your mechanic is a Nissan dealer, or the dealer you're doing business with is somebody that you trust. But if you feel good about the purchase, you should feel good about the car. It's a great deal. The Nissan Leaf, we always have plenty of them here at Honda of Seattle and Toyota of Seattle. If you have any questions about anything to do with the Nissan Leaf, any Nissan Leafs we have here at the dealership, or anything about the car business at all, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. My name is Joe Tunney. I'm the pre-owned director at Honda of Seattle and Toyota of Seattle. You can get a hold of me anytime at joet@hondaofseattle.com.